concern about getting along in this life from the thoughts that we harbor and how they manifest and how they shape our lives. Now you say the ethers of the astral and mental worlds respond swiftly to thought. And so you must be careful of how you think while moving about in these levels. The higher you go, the swifter the vibrations of the thought manifest. But then we know that these various levels are here and now. So I want to ask, why is it that we could have maybe we could have things that we want to come into our lives, and then we focus on them, we think about them, but there is not this manifestation. Meanwhile, we are attuned to those levels somehow. So why do these thoughts? Why do these I call them desires or wishes not manifest in accordance with the vibrating nature of the ether? I don't know. I don't understand, because we seem to be beggars sitting on a sack of gold. So why is it that our thoughts, our wishes don't manifest as we want them to?
Well, you already know this, Charles, and that is that you know, you can be at home and sit there on the couch watching TV, and you see something on TV, and oh, you see that new car, and it's like, oh, gee, I want that new car. Okay, so, and you can sit there and dream about it and see yourself, imagine yourself driving the car and all that. And yeah, you would like it to instantly manifest. Well, it's already so in your mind. On the invisible side, because you've decided that you want it, and you know, you're already there, you're experiencing it within yourself. But in the physical sense, with the physical body, you're still sitting on the couch watching TV. So what you actually have to do in the physical sense, because of how the physical is, you have to get up and you have to go down to the car dealer and buy the car, don't you? You already know this, Charles, don't you? So that's how it is in the physical sense. But in you know, we'll just say fantasy in your imagination or whatever, you have it on another level, and maybe even that night you'll dream of you know, driving in the car. You see, on that level. But on the physical level, see, you want to bring it here. So you know, you already know the mechanics that it takes for that to happen, don't you? On the physical side.
Yeah. Yeah, then let me tell you about a real experience I had. I remember before I woke up, I came back from the real side with a sack in my hand, and I had the understanding that I had brought down the riches of the higher worlds. They were with me. I brought them down to this level of life, and there is one millionaire or billionaire that I know. We've never been friends. I just know him as an important person around the place. And he approached me. I wanted to buy everything off. So I told him that I would not sell them to him. I would not sell my riches to him. I had them well under my armpit, well clutched. So, but this riches that I brought, this special gifts that I brought, I can't find them in my life. Oh, I don't know, but I'm experiencing them, but I don't know. So what can you say about this?
Well, I could say something, but I'm trying to understand what you are saying. So is this something that you brought through into the physical? Is that what you're saying, or what?
Yeah, that is right.
Okay, so now you're saying you can't find them?
Yeah, I don't, because if you look at maybe one's situation in life, so you know that you brought a lot of riches down to this life level, but you are still in maybe want and all the like. And so remember that the billionaire wanted to buy everything if I sold to him. But then I'm still in a kind of in a kind of want, a kind of deprived state. So it contradicts these riches that I brought from the real side down to this level.
Well, it's your experience, Charles. You know best. So, and you decide, don't you? You're the decider. So, however it's going to come out, etc. So, you see what you're going through with this. So, you're the only one that can resolve it. That's something that's a personal experience that you had, however it is, and however it comes out. You decide that. Is there a, is there a manual according to what should happen according to your experience? No, it's you're the decider. So everybody has their experiences. People have experiences on the real side. They recognize certain things, are actually able to do certain things in the physical sense. You know, many times they're shown, but they don't do it. You see, it's a choice, isn't it? Just like the fellow that I knew with the richest family in the world, he decided, and he could do it, they were going to give it to him. Okay, anything that he wanted, unlimited funding. But you know what? He decided, and he said no. So that's what it all comes to, doesn't it? You decide. It's your experience, and just like when the fellow offered to you, you said no, didn't you?
Okay.
Yeah, and so, you know, the funny thing is that because this fella said no, it changed everything around him. But he didn't see it. But he was living it, and he did see it, but he was denying it. So we're all given opportunities, and it's sometimes right in front of us. But many times we say no, and then you got to figure it out. Yes, I've been there myself many times, and I had to struggle back, you know, etc. And finally, you know, fix it, you might say, so that it is okay, so that I'm okay. And I know the struggle. That's why I go through all this. This is why I do this every day. This is why I've set up my life like this, to where it is a struggle. Because again, I could work the 9-to-5 job. I could go out there and I could have a big corporation do all that stuff, but it would just be a waste because of what's taking place. In other words, every person decides. So you made the decision. You see the outcome of it. If there's to be something there, you decide how it's going to be, you might say, fixed. That is your experience. And all the guidance in the world can't decide for you or fix it. It can be shown to you what's possible, but will you go through the process to make it so? And most people won't. They want it right away. They want to just buy the lotto ticket, scratch it, and oh, I'm a millionaire. But will they go through the process that it takes to really get what they want aside from that? You know, that's something, but maybe there's other ways. And it's the world's very complex, yeah. And also there are those that are going to beat you down and steal it from you too, as soon as you got it. That's what the cabal does. Just like Bill Gates or anybody else out in the world, once they've succeeded at what they do, then they come to them and they buy you off. They threaten to take it from you, or they buy you off and say, you work for us now, or we'll take everything you got. You see? So again, you got to deal with that too. And you can say, oh, gee, it's not fair, that's not right, whatever. But no, this is creation. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that people do have a chance, because people are so fooled and marketed into deception and agreeing to it, and actually agreeing to the destruction of the galaxy with the dark holes, the black holes and everything else in this life. You know, again, it's like everything that's happening now with all the fires and the HAARP and the hurricanes and the earthquakes and the business world and the water, etc. It's because people keep agreeing to it. Everybody could have what they want, but they don't see how they're agreeing. They can say, oh, I don't want that, I don't like it, but still they're demonstrating how they keep agreeing. They go start their car, they go drive to work, they work their 9-to-5 cabal job as an example. They're still agreeing with the system. And I'm not saying not to agree to it, but they do have an opportunity to become more aware. And so it's your choice, Charles. You are more aware. And so you decide how you're going to utilize your awareness, as opposed to your personal feelings and ideas of the situation. Again, that's your adventure. I always relate to the is. How does this relate to the is, as to what I'm doing and what I'm deciding accordingly? And I'm not saying I'm right. It's not about that. I just do the best I can, because I'm dealing with restriction here all the time, restriction of others. And I have to wiggle through these things and just to try to get something out there. But for the most part, it's, you know, there's so much agreement to restriction that, you know, it's fortunate that something that gets done and that people have shown up, it's for them. I always figured that I'd be doing this by myself, you know, but it's so good that it's so great that others have shown up, because I learn from everybody else too, to better reference this reality, to better see it, to better do something within life, because the big picture is about survival, real survival, not artificial survival like we have here, like we have implied freedoms. There is no freedom, and there cannot be any freedom here, no matter what is decided or what doctrines are created or what is proclaimed. No such thing, because you're in cause and effect creation. So the best thing that I see to relate to is the isness, and you might say bring that understanding and that reality into where people have the possibility to recognize it. So you made the choice, Charles. You know what to do. You really do. You decide how it's going to be. So maybe it's better not to have it. There's something else there. So when you can't get what you want, you can relate to the is, and more so be more intent with that, as opposed to, okay, you haven't quite got it yet. It's like, oh, there's a lot of things I want to do, but so I keep relating to that and just do what I can until let's see what shows up. So that's one view, Charles. Thank you, Mr. Charles. It's all for you. Again, the focus, get the kids together and have a project, do something. It's not going to happen overnight, but at least focus on that. And that helps people better understand if they've got something to do. And I like to take on the impossible, not just what is possible. So that becomes easy. Take on the impossible and see if you can do it. So like presenting the new presentation and figuring this out aside from everything else in the world, yeah, it was my mission impossible, but here it is. It's becoming figured out as people pay attention. So because life is so unique, you've really got to learn to see it. It's more so. And then you learn to see, then eventually you will learn to see everything. But you got to go for the bigger picture. So the projects are very important. Get the kids to do something, Charles. Head something up, get an idea, and again, you're going to get resistance. It's like, oh, gee, that's not workable. We can't do that. Yes, you can. Just figure it out. And yes, I know Africa's going through a lot. I have a real concern there. I wish I could do more, but for right now, at least they have the awareness. They have the new you. The guides are there, but you got to figure it out. So that's the challenge. And lucky you, you do have the challenge because we all need that to become more aware of the is. That's the best part. All these lifetimes, you haven't been aware of it, and look at the world that isn't. You're lucky that you know. So take on the big risks, the big challenge, do something impossible. See you next time.